Oh, hit that like, everybody. We're getting started soon.
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your asshole. He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe. Purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you doing?
Oh, yes. All right. There should be enough likes happening by now. Yes? This? Let's see. Hold on. 3, 2, let's see. I was restarting that thing. We'll see if it shows up in this. Just excellent. Look at that. All right. I'm here. Don't worry. I just have to get my lights turned on. You seem to be acting weird. You silly thing. Whoops. Wait. What you doing? All right, now I can do it. Now it's working a lot better. I don't know what it was. My my lights menu on my computer just stopped working for some reason. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Happy afternoon to you, or evening, or good day, or good morning. I don't know when you watch this. It's okay. If you're watching at a time when you know I'm not actually live, hi. I haven't said hello to you guys enough in a while. Also, hi trolls. I feel like I've been letting them down lately. The trolls, I haven't said hello to you guys enough lately. You've had a rough go of it with Trump in court and glitching all over the place, and you're trying to dunk on me in the meantime. It's just been pretty shitty going for you guys. Stormy weather, as the president would say. Hi, you take your 10-minute bananas and do what you will with them, chat room. Yeah, this is pretty good. Hold on. This guy has got to be the winner of the Fafo award. Has got to go to this guy. We got to like chat room right before I'll talk to you in just a second. But this dude, this is Ryan Nichols. Ryan Nichols just got sentenced to 5 years and $200,000. And I mean, this guy is as maggot as they come. Check this out.
So yes, today, Ryan Nichols grabbed his fucking weapon and he stormed the Capitol and he fought for freedom, for integrity, intection,
yeah, Allegra intectionary,
election integrity.
Whatever. It's cool.
Fought. So
yeah, he grabbed his weapon, which is a rusty old crowbar, which he brought with him to allegedly a Trump rally someplace. Because you just do, don't you? Who among us hasn't, at least once, what's on my overhead lights on? Who among us, I open this up to the entire chat room. Who among us has not gone to a political rally of some sort, carrying a crowbar? Why wouldn't you bring one of those? I mean, what happens if you get there and somebody needs a tire changed or has a nail that's stuck in a plank? You're like, oh shit. Normally, I would bring a crowbar to a political rally that's totally peaceful, so that I can be, peaceful and patriotic while I'm walking. You can't walk peacefully and patriotically without a fucking crowbar, or if you're Ashley Babbitt, without a knife. This is your daily reminder, I suppose, that Ashley Babbitt had a knife in her bag. Unarmed Ashley Babbitt. Also, that these motherfuckers were built a gallows, but that's old news. Hi, chat room. Hello. Yes, off to the Crowbar Hotel. That's another way. The Hooskow, the big house, the cement condo, as they call it. Also, I happen to think that Trump, in retrospect, looking back over the Trump rally that we went through together, that all of his talk about little windows had more to do with him just kind of ruminating on what a cell's going to be like. And maybe if he's lucky, he'll get one of those little prison windows, or he can stand on the bunk if his cellmate allows him, and put his hands on him and run his cup back and forth across him and say, mispronounce Attica, right? Oh, happy birthday, Kath. Right on. Oh, okay. I'm checking the staff chat. Also, by the way, yes, on, let's see. We ready? We okay? We're good? Twitch is good. Instagram, we're ready. Yes. What am I missing? We're good? I think we're all right. Happy birthday, Kath. Andre. And also, I have a thing on the 15th, so it might be the following week for Bob. I think that's what it's going to have to be, the 22nd. Because I have I'm doing a animal charity on the 15th, and I've got to fly to Albuquerque. No, not Albuquerque. I'm already going there. Yes. No. San Antonio. That's where it is. I got these mixed up. Anyways, I will go anywhere to help animals. Anywhere Christy Gnome has been, I will show up and try to make up for some of it. And as I said earlier today, Christy Gnome is trying to, patch a hole in her bullshit dog killing, I guess, life story, whatever she's putting forward. The sim that we all live in is so fucking ridiculous at this point that we're about 2 days away from her getting a cease and desist from Sarah McLachlan for using Arms of an Angel in one of her campaign ads. This is just silly town. We're all in crazy town now. Speaking of crazy town, hey, look who was back in court today. Just letting you know, it didn't go very well today. And a lot of people spent a better part of the afternoon in both the press pool and the general, I guess, the peanut gallery at court laughing at him. So that was fun. We'll talk about that in a bit. But let's go with, I think this is what he said. This is him entering court.
Thank you very much. So as you know, late last night we got back from Michigan. We went to Wisconsin.
Why late? It wasn't even sundown when you left.
And Michigan yesterday. We had tremendous rallies, sold out rallies. They were packed.
First of all, you don't sell tickets. It's a rally. It's not sold out. You can't sell it out. That's bullshit. I don't know where he gets that from. You're not selling it out. It might be capacity, but that depends on the capacity of people there. The event is free. It's free. You can't sell something out that's free. Nothing was sold. People just showed up. I mean, you're a sellout. I mean, I guess, well, that's not true. You'd have to have ethics or values to start with.
And the enthusiasm's never been better. So
Enthusiasm.
So that was a great thing. And
it totally was. It was great. It was great. Yeah. It was great. Super good.
It was nice to be able to campaign one day without being in this ridiculous show.
Or on a golf course. Don't forget that. You could campaign one day that doesn't interfere with your golfing. Because who fuck golfs on Wednesday except you most of the time?
Biden trial, I call it.
Do you? You call it that? How's that working out for you? Is it working? Are people going, oh, totally? Or are they just laugh in your face?
But it was quite a day yesterday, and many of you were there.
No, none of us were there. None of the people that you're talking to were there. I mean, what he means is the RSBN people there, who are filming this every day, they were there. I guess they follow him around, just scooping up right-wing pieces of ass in weird little enclaves all over the country.
And I appreciate your being there. The coverage was very fair. The economy, people are asking me about the economy. It's doing terribly. And
is it? It wasn't today.
Interest rates are obviously not going to be able to be reduced prior to the election because inflation is roaring back.
Right, because the American people have too much money to spend and they're still spending it. Fuck you, America. Stop buying stuff.
The gasoline's way up, other things are way up, and it's roaring back like they are.
Oh, it's roaring back like things have never roared back before.
Very surprised. I'm not surprised, but they're surprised. I guess they're surprised. That's what they say anyway.
Who knows if they are? They might be lying. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. It's all roaring back, and they're surprised at the surprises that they're even feeling. And I'm not surprised that they're surprised, but you wouldn't be.
So that's on the economy. It looks...
Yeah, covered. Okay, thanks. We got that. That's on the economy. So everybody put your pens down. There will be a quiz. I know you're like, wait, too many details. I didn't get it all. It's just too much math. So that's economy stuff. Surprise. Not surprised, but maybe. I don't know. They think so, but probably not. Also, eggs.
Pretty bleak for interest rates, and I don't think there's any way they can cut them because inflation, remember, is a country buster.
Is it? You sound hopeful.
When you have inflation, that breaks countries. I mean,
really? So what you're saying is that that Orban, the head of Hungary, is an asshole and is failing his country terribly? What about Vladimir Putin? I mean, obviously their inflation is way over ours, and God, their interest rates are off the fucking charts. You must think he's a right prick. You should call him and tell him what an asshole he is compared to the United States.
It literally breaks countries, and
no, it literally doesn't.
We can't take that chance, so we'll see what they do, but
I guess we'll take the chance then. Yeah, also ask Xi Jinping, because apparently things are fucked up there too.
It was sort of announced yesterday they can't do much with the interest rates. They'll have to remain very high, and it's very unfortunate. We had low interest rates, they have high interest rates.
We had to do it. Our interest rates were really low, which is why I borrowed so much money, and also the economy crashed.
That's very unfortunate. When you compare my economy to this economy...
When? Before the $6 trillion you had to infuse into the giant gaping hole that occurred because of COVID, because you thought it would go away with the sunshine?
Not even a contest.
Or after, when the adults came in after you fucked up and cleaned up?
We're the greatest economy in history.
Nope.
And now we have sort of a lousy economy, but...
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad when you have to say sort of. You know what I mean? Sort of a lousy economy. That's it. You should put that on a bumper sticker.
The problem with the economy is the inflation. And
yeah, it is. It's kind of, yeah.
And anything you made, you more than gave back. We call it a 50% tax. It's a Biden tax. It's called an...
Is that what you call it? You call it a 50% tax, even though it's not?
Inflationary tax. And it's about 50%. And that's what it is, whether you like it or not. And it's...
No, I don't like it. So I don't believe it. Yeah, I'm just gonna shrug off your bullshit. Then, yeah, it's stankflation. Thanks, PB.
It's too bad.
It is. It's too bad. It is. It's too. Well, actually, you know what? No, it isn't too bad. I think it's just bad enough. I think it's fair to middle and bad.
We're down at the trial now, getting ready to spend another day in the courthouse, which is...
You sound excited.
Bogus trial that every lead...
Yeah, it's totally bogus and gnarly.
Leading authority on law says should never have been brought, that Alvin Bragg didn't want to bring it until the election happened, and then he brought it. You just do know that this case could have been brought 8 years ago.
This case should have been brought 8 years ago when you were president and Bill Barr says you couldn't be tried. So you agree. Well, there goes, now I wish you were at the Supreme Court. So you're saying that this should have been brought while you were president. Shit. So you're saying a president can be charged with a crime while he's president. Well, that lightens our whole load. Now we don't even have to fucking worry about whether you win the election or not, which you aren't. But, because obviously you agree with the rest of us that you absolutely, if you've committed a crime, can be held. You don't have to be impeached or anything. I mean, if it could have been brought then, shit.
Could have been brought 8 years ago. Instead, they wait and wait.
Well, technically speaking, I think if you're going the full run, 8 years. Yeah, I guess technically I mean, it's 7 years since so basically you should have been charged as you committed the crime before people found out. Okay, cool. Well, hey, if you're for pre-crime, why the fuck not? I thought Republicans were against thought crime or arresting people before they'd actually done something wrong. But fuck me, why do I care?
Wait and wait. They know it's not a good case, and now it's turned out to be they've lost they have no case.
Well, then maybe they waited too long.
They have no case.
Lucky you.
But we have a very conflicted judge, unfortunately, and...
Yeah, he's not conflicted. He might have conflicts of interest, which is what you're trying to say, but he's not conflicted. He doesn't seem to be of two minds about it. You silly putt.
So you never know. But other than that, there's no case, and it should have never been brought.
Other than that, you mean along with that?
But if it was going to be brought, it should have been brought 8 years ago. You know, we're talking about 2015, 2016.
Well, yeah, you hadn't actually committed the crime yet. This is right before the election, stupid.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Well, I'm glad we're finally seeing it. I think it's about fucking time.
And they wait till I announce, and then they start their
I think it's the other way around. You heard that they were going to serve you, and you announced to cover your
action, and then they wait till prime time, Super Tuesday. It all started Super Tuesday, the biggest day.
Well, you were punting these fucking things all last year. I mean, you could have said, we need to get these out of the way because I don't want to be in the middle of a campaign when all this stuff hits the court. I'm going to win anyways. Don't wait. Tell your attorneys. We should, last June, shit. You should have just gone, let's go this right away.
Which we won every single thing. I mean, Super Tuesday was a big day for me, but that's when it all really came into being. And who starts a case right smack in the middle of somebody's...
Well, they didn't start the case then. That's when the trial started, but the case obviously started well before. I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched an episode of Law and Order, but a lot of them take place in the city you're in.
Elections. It should be
glung.
illegal because it's election interference.
Well, yeah, that's why you're on trial, for election interference. That's what you were doing. It is illegal, and that's what you were doing. Now, they don't have to wait for the feds to do anything about it. You're just in trouble.
So we're going to go in right now and...
You act like you have an option.
I will comment just quickly on the colleges and universities. It's a shame.
Oh, thank God. I was worried that we would get past, a serious issue where his input would really, help balance a delicate situation. Please go on.
So proud of the New York's finest. They're great people too. I know so many of them. They're incredible. They did a job.
By the way, he's not talking about the cops. He's talking about Nuts for Nuts and the hot dog vendors.
Columbia, and likewise in Los Angeles, they did a really good job at UCLA. It was very much embedded. And just so you understand, this is
very much embedded. Someone was flipping channels, I think. Not so much taking in what was going on, but just kind of doing this.
This is the radical left. This is a movement from the left, not from the right.
Oh yeah, I know. Our anti-Semitism looks all funky and punkish. Your anti-Semitism is always wearing khakis.
The right is not your...
Yeah, there was a total lack of tiki torches. I will give you that. But yeah, don't worry. I don't want you to worry. We know your anti-Semites are still there. We know that they're ready and willing and able. They're standing back and they're standing by. Don't worry about it.
Problem, despite what law enforcement likes to say.
Yeah, besides what whatever.
The FBI director said that he worries about the right. No, don't worry about the right. The right's fine.
Yeah, the right's fine. Yeah, they're great. Their anti-Semites they're very organized, and they all know how to light a tiki torch, and they're really good with wearing the white baklavas. Sorry, not a baklava. That's a cookie. Balaclava. Actually, I can't honestly. I'm going to go with they wear baklavas. This is what I get for reading the chat while I speak. Now, because I can't get a picture, these guys with just cook baklavas stuck to their fucking face, duct taped.
Worry about the left, because this is a movement from the left. These are radical left lunatics.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to clear them out pretty easily. It wasn't that big a deal. There were a lot of campers, quite frankly. It looked like the soy version of Burning Man. Honestly, I don't think they were in danger. These guys running around with shields made out of garbage cans. I wasn't concerned about those guys. I got to tell you, I'm more worried about the Timothy McVeigh types from Charlottesville. Yeah, please enable clips on you. As far as I know, it is. Mark, I don't know why it says otherwise. I will try.
And they got to be stopped now because it's...
Yeah, you got to stop the left now.
It's going to go on, and it's going to get worse and worse.
Well, it kind of did. I don't know if you saw. That's what you were watching on TV. Was that they were just blooming? Say baklava again, motherfucker. That's what they were. They were brooming people out of there. They were. That. It did happen. That's what you were watching on television, dipshit.
And you know they take over countries.
No, they don't. White, upper middle class, college students don't tend to take over countries. They really don't.
Okay, and we're not letting them take over the USA. We're not letting the.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, man. I feel so much better.
Radical left morons.
There you go. Easy there. You're gonna careful. You might say bullshit again.
Take over this country.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, technically they're morons. They'll be in your cabinet, I think. Actually,
You can't let that happen.
no, you can't let that happen.
And the law enforcement and the people at DOJ, instead of going after Donald Trump, they ought to look at what's happening in their own offices, because you're loaded up with radical left people that want this country to fail.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Alvin Bragg can barely get anything filed because of all the Antifa guys around him burning trash cans and shit. It's just, it's overwhelming.
And we're not going to let this country fail. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I don't think you have any input in it. You're welcome. There you go, chat room. That's his statement on his way in, and here he is on the way out. A little worse for wear, little blanched, yellow tie today, which is curious. I didn't notice that in the other one. I don't know why. It's more golden in this one, so it's very. The lighting gets weirder at the end of the day. Hey, look, it's dope your pregnant stripper girlfriend with the abortion pill so she spontaneously aborts guy following him around. Hey, and it's one of the guys who's been indicted in Arizona, where this guy is a unindicted conspirator. That's Boris Epstein, right? That's Boris and Jason Miller. So both of these fuckers are in legal issues. This one especially in Arizona right now. That's good. Maybe they were having a meeting about that case. It's like Trump's better, like, keep your enemies closer, so he's making Boris hang out. Yeah. Good times. Is there anybody besides Trump's attorney who isn't, I mean, these all criminals? No, this cop should not be, lumped in with this, or that guy, or the bailiffy dude over on the side over there, or whoever that guy's face is nailed to the wall. But is there anybody besides these two attorneys with Trump that isn't indictable for something horrific? Okay, here we go.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We had a long day in court.
First of all, fucko, appreciate what? You didn't walk up to fucking applause. I mean, this is getting dangerously close to like the 80s stand-up comic walking up to a quiet crowd going, easy, settle down, everyone. Please sit down. Please sit down. No, I don't deserve this. I don't. Only not ironic.
Always, but very happy about the way things are going.
Great.
The fact is that we're looking outside and we're seeing all of the things that are taking place.
We're looking outside and we're seeing all of the things that are taking place. I also don't know why this is all left channel, by the way. Why this is mono.
In our economy.
Sure. Looking outside in the economy. You fucking what now? What? Is the sound okay, guys, even though it's all left channel? Sorry about that. I don't know. I have no fucking idea why.
With inflation, with the kind of numbers that are being announced, we're seeing all of the crime that's going on outside, and to be safe.
Yeah, just looking out the door. All the crime that's happening outside. Mainly my supporters, and it's usually like a violation of fashion ordinances.
Sitting in this courtroom over this is just ridiculous. It's election interference at the highest level.
Well, I mean, just because it's presidential, I suppose, but it's actually pretty low end, I would argue. Yeah.
Never been done before in our country, and I should be out campaigning right now, and I want to be.
Actually, we saw your campaign stops yesterday. I count your blessings that you're not.
Be out campaigning like I was yesterday. We finally had a break.
You had a break all weekend and you didn't go anywhere.
And I was out campaigning yesterday. Very unfair. There's never been.
Wait a minute. You were very unfair while you were campaigning? Why would you do that? Well, hold on one second. I'm going to try and gack this sucker up a little bit. There you go.
Anything like this in the history of our country. Never.
Well, yeah, because we've never had a criminal fuck like you. I mean, not since Nixon anyways, but he got pardoned because, unlike you, his vice president didn't feel threatened physically by the president.
So we're doing well. The polls are extremely good despite that. The polls are extremely good, the best we've ever had.
Yeah, I remember hearing something like that in 2020 and also before the big red wave that was supposedly happening.
And it looks like we're doing very well. Any question?
No, really. I mean, besides, like, what the fuck is the matter with you? And why does your attorney look like he had a giant plate of bad clams?
Would you be RFK Jr.?
RFK, I don't know anything about him.
I don't know anything about him. I don't know who he is. I think he's related to MLK, maybe. I don't know. There's a K in the end. I don't know. Normally, I like, my Ks in groups of 3. I don't like when you just have one K at the end. That's no good. You want all Ks, 3 of them in a row.
Look, RFK is polling very low. He's not a serious.
You don't know anything about him, but you do know he's polling very low.
Candidate. They say he hurts Biden. I don't.
No, they don't, actually.
I don't know who he hurts. He might hurt me. I don't know.
Why would you say that? Why would that pop into your head?
But he has very low numbers, certainly not numbers that he can debate with, and he's got.
Okay, so you don't want to debate him, so he won't be included in the debates. Okay, cool. Because apparently he wants to debate you, and I can't imagine anything I would want to, from an audio standpoint, hear less than the two of you fucking talk. Our president has a lifelong stutter, and I would be more horrified to listen to you and RFK.
Get his numbers up a lot higher before he's credible. But the numbers that he's taken away, they say will be against Biden. I don't know. I'm not so sure. It could be a little bit against me.
You mean the whole anti-vax thing?
But I don't see him as a factor.
Who's your favorite right now?
My favorite for what?
Vice President.
Oh, who's my favorite for vice president? Well, I'll be making that determination sometime prior to the convention.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to, don't you? You'll be making. You will. You really. What's your motivation for making that decision sometime before the convention? So you're not going to just spin a wheel. What a great idea. I'll make up my mind somewhere between now and the absolute last fucking second. I was gonna go with Gnome, but the whole dog thing, I thought that was a winning issue. I don't like dogs. She shot a dog. I thought we were perfect.
What do you think about the candidacy testimony?
Well, I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order, I guess.
What?
That's right. I can't even testify on that.
You can't. What? You can't even testify? Yes, you can, you dumb motherfucker. Hold on. No. Wait. What the fuck?
What do you think about the candidacy testimony?
Well, I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order, I guess, right? I can't even testify on that. No, we're going to be appealing the gag order. I'd love to answer that question.
There is no gag order where you can't testify. That's ridiculous. I mean, okay, maybe he thinks this is his out. Maybe if he just, I mean, his followers are dumb enough to believe it, so maybe that's why he's saying it. He's just going to say, I wanted to testify, but the judge won't let me because of some stupid Fifth Amendment thing. I don't know.
It's a very easy question.
It's like Trump testifying is to the Fifth Amendment what he says his right to have classified documents is to the Presidential Records Act. It is the exact opposite of the actual reading of the real law.
Easiest question so far, but I'm not allowed to testify because this judge who's totally...
First of all, that's I gotta say that has to be lying about the judge like that is gotta be a violation of the gag order. I mean, he can go in and plead idiocy, I suppose, right? What I mean, honestly, what's he gonna say? Your Honor, the defendant said that you will not, in front of the press, in front of everyone, that you will not allow him to testify in his own trial, and that your gag order prohibits him from his constitutional right to speak in his own trial on his own defense. Is that the case?
Inflicted has me under an unconstitutional gag order.
No, it isn't.
Nobody's ever had that before.
Well, technically speaking, if it was an unconstitutional gag order, you couldn't even call it that. You'd just be in Gitmo already.
And we don't like it, and it's not fair. Other people are...
Boo-hoo! We don't like it. It's a big dummy.
They're allowed to do whatever they want to us, and I'm not allowed as a presidential candidate, the leading candidate, the Republican Party nominee, and the one who's...
Well, not technically yet. I'm just saying. And Nikki Haley took a significant number of your voters even after she dropped out. So
leading by...
Easy there.
By a lot. I'm not allowed to talk. There's never been any abuse like this before.
Boo fuckity who.
This conflicted judge ought to get out of this case. He should not be having this case.
You tell him. Look, some of this legal mumbo jumbo I don't get, but he should not be having this case. Former president of the United States, everybody. Yeah. Knows more about ISIS than the generals.
He gives us nothing.
He gives us nothing.
Such a rigged court. So I'm not allowed to testify?
Yeah, you are. Stupid.
Because of an unconstitutional...
Look at his attorney. He's getting dangerously close to Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Big Lebowski. That's marvelous.
Gag order. We're appealing the gag order, and
yeah, I can't see you appealing to anyone.
Let's see what happens. Thank you very much.
What did you say in the recording to microphone?
That's it. There you go. So for those of you that thought, and as did I, that that clip earlier today of him saying he would not be allowed to testify because the judge wouldn't let him, that was a one-off flub. You heard him in that full clip, as I like to do around here, because that's what Hal Sparks' Megaworldwide is all about. All context, all the time. That he said it multiple times right in front of his lawyer, because both of them are fucking morons. Trump and his lawyer are idiots. Just, yeah. Oh, and the vegan, I think that was Vogon food, Peter, that he was talking about. Could Nikki Haley challenge him? Yes, if he doesn't, yeah. I mean, she can scoop up some of his delegates if he fucks around and finds out, like his followers at the, that just went to jail. So, yeah. Technically, yes. I mean, that's true of any situation. If something happens to the lead candidate, the person who came in second will often come in there and make a case for why they should scoop up some of these things. Will she do it? No, probably not. I doubt it. But I don't care. So, okay. On the other hand, real quick. Well, shit. I got to look at the time on each of these. All right, I'm going in order of, oh, God. This motherfucker, all right. Okay. I guess at some point, once you've got, 4 credible rape accusations against you and court proceedings playing out. You've got a trial you're looking at to be like the hip, he went from being the hippie Alex Jones to the hippie Harvey Weinstein, right? Yeah, we're not going to look at much of this, but can I just say that, like, he's still trying to sell these fucking too cute by half thumbnails where he's like, what? Like he just took a class in how to make YouTube thumbnails on Canva. And what the fuck? The PSYOP bunch? Also, can I just point out something on down here? So, as Joe Biden is compared to a father figure by Howard Stern and a grandfather by Colin Jost, and Kamala Harris is asked to be America's Mamala, is this part of a establishment media psyop to paint senior Democrat figures as collective family figures? No, it's an analogy, you weak motherfucker. But meanwhile, 60,000 views, 6 million subscribers. Real fucking quick. So I'm at about this many subscribers. I'm at about 67. I'm getting up close to, where are we? Like 69,000. Look out. Subscribers pretty soon. So subscribe, please. He's got 6.7 million subscribers, and yet this is the viewership. How the fuck does that work? How do you have, thank you, Mark, 67.5. So please subscribe today, infotainmentwars.com. He's got, I've got, my subscribership versus my viewership is about, like a little over a sixth. So on the regular, I'll get 10 to 12 per video with 67,000 subscribers, and a growing thing. They're real people. And a lot of people watching it live. So this isn't even the people who watched it later is what drives the number up later. But while I'm, on camera right now, we got like across several sites, I've got about 3,600 people just in the chat room. And then I've got my regular viewers. But I only have across all these sites, around the same amount of subscribers as he allegedly has viewers in this situation. He's got 6.7 million subscribers. How the fuck is that possible? How is it possible to have 6.7 million subscribers and have less than 100,000 views on every video? I don't get it. Seriously. What the fuck is that? Fake, you say? I agree. Okay, so, and then he's selling for nutrition the way nature intended. Visit brickhouserussell.com and buy some fucking whatever. And he wants people to go watch his interview with Tucker on Locals, and then his weekly thing, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then it's a full transcript of this fucking show, and chapters, and this is okay. You love family life, right? Family is not a place where you receive trauma, is it? Growing up was fantastic, wasn't it? Well, how opposite was it? Then there is I'll show you. This is the auto transcript. Way to pay for the good stuff. With your millions of subscribers, you're going to pay for the extra primo good English transcript. Us to regard the Biden administration as a kind of warped family, a little more Adams and Manson than mom and pop, but family nonetheless. Here's Howard Stern, a man I've got to say was an innovator, media, a brilliant provocateur, but in this interview seems that he is pretty heavily dedicated to kind of ideologically filleting, ornamenting Joe Biden. Right. Okay. So this is him bitching about the fact that that Howard Stern was being a fucking adult when talking to another adult, and this obviously is a problem.
You love family life, right? Family.
God damn, dude! I gotta tell you, like, are you re-uploading this shit through a fucking ViewMaster? Again, I'm on a fucking shoestring budget here, buddy, and granted, I make all my own graphics. I don't have a fucking team kissing my ass all day long and Rumble backing me up with a bunch of fake subscribers, but still.
Not a place where you receive trauma, is it? Growing up was fantastic, wasn't it? Well, how apposite it is then that there is a media narrative being spun now to
there's a media narrative being spun, is there? So yeah.
invite us to regard the Biden
Thanks, Fiji.
administration as a
Thank you, Fish Delight. That's very
kind
lovely.
of warped family. A little more Adams and Manson than mom and pop, but family.
Why would that be? Why Adams and Manson? Seriously, as someone who's apparently styling himself after Charles Manson, I would like you to explain your fucked up view of why that analogy fits. Explain yourself, Mr. Maxi Pad.
Nonetheless, here's Howard Stern, a man who, I've got to say, was an innovator in media, a brilliant...
Yeah, fart man, sure. Back in the day when he was, all the sexist stuff early on. Yeah, back in the day when Russell liked him, when he was piggish towards women and stuff. It's really when he gentrified and got all like polite and had a career. Fuck that guy. But back in the day when he was just gross, that's when Russell was like innovative.
Brilliant provocateur. But in this...
provocateur as in fucking what? Just being provocative for provocative sake? Just getting, butt bongo? Right. Is that what you're talking about, Russell?
This interview, it seems that he is pretty heavily dedicated to...
Whoop, was that an edit? Hold on. Pretty heavily dedicated to what?
It seems that he is pretty heavily dedicated to kind of...
Yeah, it was an edit. Also, his phone went off, I think, apparently, and distracted him, so he had to pick up or check in with his lawyer, I guess.
Ideologically filleting, ornamenting Joe Biden. Now, it's semi-tragic, I would say.
Semi-tragic?
That Joe Biden is almost unable to respond to this. Joe Biden, even as he's being complimented, he's not able to sort of nod or smile or raise an eyebrow because, as you know by now, and I take no joy in saying this, Joe Biden is extremely old and not only incapable of the extraordinary office of the world's most powerful...
Also, he might, unlike you, not be a silly rubber-faced git.
...person.
Might be a grown man who's president, and everything he does and says it has the world hanging on it, unlike you, where no one gives a fuck. So you can kind of get away with anything, except rape, of course.
But also,
one hopes.
He's struggling to receive a compliment. Let's have a look.
Is he?
And you're the kind of leader I love because we're lucky to have you in the Oval Office.
Also, by the way, who takes a compliment on the level that Howard has given him, like, just starts smiling and nodding while someone is saying this? Like, when you're listening to someone talk to you in this reverent and friendly and with genuine kindness in a situation like this, and I gotta say, as it's happened to me in my life, it is what I would call sweetly embarrassing. It is touching and humbling, and you just kind of go quiet and want to hear, so that you don't interrupt them, and you also don't feel like you're writing off what they're saying or dismissing it or get busy patting yourself on the fucking back. Right? You just receive it.
And serving as the father of the country, because if you're a good father to your family, which you are, I know you'd be a good father to the country.
Okay, so it's as simple as that. If you're a good father to your family, and I suppose by that he means, he does go out of his way to get Hunter Biden work, it seems. He's willing...
The fuck are you talking about? He lost his daughter in a car accident. He lost his other son to fucking brain cancer. And he has an addicted son that he was trying to bring back from the edge of possibly losing him. While, by the way, I would like to remind everybody that fentanyl was stampeding its way through every drug addict's, stash, one bit at a time, that you never knew when the next drop would be your last. The fuck is this asshole talking about?
Not making an allegation here. It seems like...
Yeah, you are. You fucking wuss.
Like he's willing to use his connections to get...
Oh, yeah? What connections would those be? You mean the ones after he's out of office?
Get Hunter Biden that Burisma gig, shall we?
How? Why? How did he use his connections? To fucking whom?
We say. So, okay.
No. You don't just get to throw that out. That's not even a baseline description of the allegations, much less like an accurate depiction of what occurred.
Okay, that's fair enough. And if this was a one-off incident, it would be a brilliant and happy coincidence. But this language of family and familiarity is eerily present in
Yeah, it's weird. Remember when Republicans used to call themselves, family values conservatives, and that appealed to a lot of people, and that was actually a fucking hashtag before hashtags exist. It was a bumper sticker idea, and it worked very well. It's almost as if, because Donald Trump is such a fucking piglet, that Biden and the Democrats have been able to co-opt the idea of genuinely caring for your family. Weird.
Several distinct pieces of state propaganda. You'll see in a minute an interview.
Really? I'm sorry, I couldn't see that state propaganda because of your weird, jagged fucking edits.
Several distinct pieces of state propaganda. You'll see it in a minute.
Jesus. Yeah, imagine having to saw that sentence together where you literally what word were they salvaging there? The word it? What the fuck?
In several distinct pieces of state propaganda. You'll see it in a minute an interview between Kamala Harris and Drew Barrymore, who I also actually adore and think is fantastic. I mean, it's Drew Barrymore from E.T., for God's sake. Who doesn't love Drew Barrymore?
No, it isn't. Drew Barrymore was a child in E.T., and Drew Barrymore in this interview is a grown woman. Now, I personally think there's a difference, and that they should be treated differently. You can say and do things around a grown woman you can't say and do around a child, for example, Russell. Just, you might want to make a note of that.
Who doesn't love E.T. and Colin Jost from
yeah, that's the only work she ever did.
From the formerly great institution SNL.
The formerly great. Mm-hmm. Are we in the category of never was's calling people has-beens at this point?
Making great avuncular praise of Joe Biden, or more specifically, he doesn't say he's uncle like he says he's like a grandfather. This is reductive. This is simplification. This is a psyop. This is the...
Or you're just hostile to the idea, so everything makes your paranoid, dim-witted brain cramp.
Invitation for you to look at a failing...
This is an invitation for you to roll back and just speak. Instead of just cutting all the air out of shit because you believe your viewers are fucking gerbils, maybe just talk. Instead of having your fucked up producer slice everything up and make it into this kind of mental pimento loaf.
Administration as somehow a family. We ain't perfect, but we're trying our best. Your mom's your mom, your dad's your dad, and your grandpappy's your grandpappy. And what the hell if they're waging war and supporting war and lying and
But enough about Trump. What the fuck are you talking about?
Inflating the threat of a political opponent in order to prevent you having any alternatives. They're still just your...
Sorry, inflating the threat of a political opponent? What are they doing?
Supporting war and lying and inflating the threat of a political opponent.
Yeah, inflating the threat. And I think what he's talking about is like, that women, women are just going to not, when are they going to learn to just suck it up? Ladies, for fuck's sake. You just understand, you're going to be second-class citizens. That's just how it is. You can't blame Trump for that. It was your fault for biting the apple first. And Russell obviously doesn't give a fuck about you, or he wouldn't be in the same legal classification as Donald Trump and Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby. Honestly, I'm kind of done with this. I don't need to go any further with it because you kind of get the point. This is he seems to be, to some degree, wasting away. Maybe that's what guilty conscience does to you. You know what I mean? Just kind of like shrink wrapping because it's bad. I mean, he looks like shit these days, and the stress of shit actually catching up with him seems to be getting to him. Yeah, he said yes, and his hero Jimmy Savile. That's exactly right. Yeah, Russell's a big fan of Jimmy Savile. Yeah, they're bros. So, needless to say, we don't need to drop in on him very often, but this is the equivalence of it. He's gone, again, like I said, from being he's still trying to be the hippie Alex Jones in terms of his show, but he's, much to his chagrin, switching to the hippie Harvey Weinstein. And I got to say, the accusation about him where he went over to the girl's house and attacked her up against the wall at her place. Yeah, that one got to me. That one made me mad. But so here's the thing. We've all been in situations where we may have misread signals and we were like making a pass at somebody, and then they're like, oh, okay, no. And then once you realize, you're like, okay, this is nothing, no harm, no foul. We're stopping right here. My bad. Like every guy who was in high school might have reached a point. I'll give you a mulligan on that possibility, right? But when she's yelling at you and you just keep going, fuck you, dude. Ugh. Imagine what Cat Williams has on brand. Jesus, I don't know that they hang at all. I don't know that he's ever known him. I don't think he's in that circle at all. I would credit Cat Williams with more class than that. Just fuck that dude. Again, I know we're dealing with allegations, but he's not pushing back against that it happened. Yeah. Jesus. Oh, it's one of the other reasons why I haven't done a clip of his in a while, because they do come up on occasion, but part of me is like, ooh, fuck you. Like, I just get, yeah. You guys know exactly what I'm saying. I have a feeling, chat room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there's a certain point where you're like, this fucker's just not, it's not funny at all. Like, it's just awful. And it's important, I think, occasionally to like check in and see that shit still occurs, right? But in all seriousness, there's no reason to keep going to that empty well. It's just fucking ugh. All right, we're moving on. I'm fine. Just a potato peeler and a cinder block. All right. Anyways, I'm fine. So now, real quick, if I'm I do have one side note thing that is different, if I may, from what I was what's in my normal caddy of stuff that our beloved CSL has sent my way. There was, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, open this guy up, and then I'll open up this thing, and we'll go to here. Okay, so real quick, on a relatively serious note, Briss with a potato peeler. Why stop there? I'm fine. How's CSL doing? He's doing okay. I will leave that up to him to discuss. It's HIPAA being what it is. It's but we just love him, and that's all you need to know. So meanwhile, remember this fuckhead? This is Tommy Tub of Shit, and the guy who was single-handedly trying to throttle our military on behalf of Vladimir Putin. Now, you'd think, okay, could this motherfucker actually hate the American citizen more? Probably not. I mean, while he's trying to pants us in one of the most dangerous eras we've been in since the beginning of the Cold War, since the late 60s, early 70s. Maybe Iran, maybe 9/11, but around that, definitely in that ballpark. And what do you think this guy's new cause is? What do you think Tommy Tubashit's issue is more than anything else? Like, what could it possibly be? Could it be the Ukraine aid or something like that? He obviously hates. Could it be the border bill, which he's against, even though it would pass? Any of that shit? What could it possibly be that's really got him to where he needs to say something? What gets you up? You'd think it would be abortion, wouldn't you? Sardines. All right. Pretty close. Women's rights. Here's the thing. You're giving him too much credit. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, this is him speaking in front of the Senate And the quote at the top of this video is, "One of the worst examples of big government overreach." Tuberville slams, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to see it.
I'd like to vitiate the quorum call, please.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've come to the Senate floor today to talk about the Corporate Transparency Act, or in as D.C. we call it, and we call it the Swamp Speak, the CTA Act.
Okay, it's not the CTA Act, you dumb motherfucker, because it's the CTA, the Corporate Transparency Act. It's not the CTA Act any more than when they had the sequel to the show Chips, and they called it Chips Patrol, and everybody like me was sitting at home going, the P in Chips stands for patrol. It's California Highway Patrol, hence the Chips, you dumb motherfucker, and therefore there's no Chips Patrol. It's not the Corporate Transparency Act, you dumbass. Yeah, or ATM machine. It's exactly that same thing. But this is what gets him up off his ass.
The CTA is to me, one of the worst examples of big government overreach that I've seen since I've gotten to Washington over 3.5 years ago.
You don't say.
That's saying a whole lot
Since you're a dumbass? Right.
Country is $34 trillion in debt. The CTA.
Right, but we have a $27 trillion economy, so, you know. China's, by the way, is like, their debt is like twice ours, and their economy is smaller than Japan's. Just saying. And you guys think they're the number 2 economy in the world, and they are in terms of the other version of the phrase number 2.
CTA was signed into law in 2021 as part of the fiscal year 2021 NDAA.
The fiscal year, not the physical year, you fucking turd. Fiscal. It's the CTA. It's not the CTA Act. It's the fiscal year, you dumb motherfucker. By the way to truly represent Alabama.
Simply put, the corporate transparency.
And apologies to anybody who's smart who lives in Alabama that this dumb motherfucker is making you guys look like a bunch of idiots.
The act is an outright attack on the 32 million small businesses in this country.
Is it now? Why would that be?
This includes farmers, restaurants, gyms, lawn service companies.
And are you just going to name every place that uses migrants under the table without documentation? Why don't you just say Mar-a-Lago while you're at it, you dumb son of a bitch?
The CTA specifically targets working Americans with an
No, it doesn't.
LLC, and failure to comply could put you in jail for up to 2 years per violation.
Yeah, it won't, though. Unless, of course, you're doing it on purpose because you aren't actually an American.
Plus, slap on $10,000 per violation. That's quite a penalty.
Right. By the way, this, for those of you that don't know, if I may, this is the Corporate Transparency Act. Corporate Transparency Act is, and there's you'll be shocked to find out that one of the reasons why Tuberville and his buddies hate it, it went into effect January 1st, and everybody had 90 days to put in what would effectively be, and I'll bring this up here, roll this up here. The BOI, the benefit. Hold on, let me roll. Let's see this. Yeah, a BOI is a beneficial ownership information report. There it is. Okay, yeah, I wanted to show you that. There you go. You had to fill out a BOI. Who makes money off this company? And who are they actually? And we need some ID from these motherfuckers. We need to know that this is a real American corporation with real Americans running it, and that they are actually a human being, and that there's somebody we can contact when this fucking business exists. That you can't just, in the case of Donald Trump, have, by the way, the amount of paperwork Donald Trump has had to file over the last month or 3 months specifically in terms of the 1,500 to 2,000 LLCs he and his dipshit kids have amongst themselves is extraordinary. All they had to do was fucking send in a picture of their ID and the number that was on their identifying document and say, this is me and this is the physical address wherein this business takes place. That's it. But Tommy Tuberville worries that if there's somebody who has more than 25% interest in one of these companies, that they're going to have to list that they're a part of this company. And boy, oh boy, does that fuck with Donald Trump's business model. And it also makes it really fucking hard to sneak money into the country and into the pockets of Republicans.
You know, I don't know about you, but I have plenty of friends and family members
that have dozens of LLCs. Boy, you should talk to Comer.
Who have an LLC. Mm-hmm. It's just part of the...
Right. Do they have a driver's license? They vote, don't they? Hell, you got to have ID to vote. You got to have an ID to open a business in America? What the fuck?
The way the U.S. economy works.
Right, but it's what makes it the U.S. economy is that it's actually Americans that are opening these fucking businesses and not just paperwork as a through point to get foreign money in and lie about where it came from.
Capitalism. Small business and LLC owners play a huge role in supporting this country and...
Right. Yeah, and they shouldn't be ashamed of it. They should be able to put their ID on the line and go, hey, this is the same ID I vote with. And I'm happy to open my business, and this is actually who I am.
Our way of life.
Also, real quick, can I show you guys, let's see. See if I can bring this out. News should be in here. Yeah. Now, one of the things we talk about a lot of times is situations where there's an outsized amount of power in states where there's kind of fuck all going on. The example, of course, being Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. You know, Kentucky, not exactly a financial powerhouse for the country, not the seat of any manufacturing, none of that stuff. Certainly a pass-through state in a big chunk of the country, but you don't get to be, the leader of the Senate because your state is has a bunch of gas stations in it. Obviously, there's some leverage that would be there, and we know now about those like Russian aluminum plants and all that kind of stuff. Well, now let's look at a person that a lot of us are like, why that fucking person? Oh my gosh, Tobias, thank you for the memberships. That was really lovely. Thanks, everybody, and thank you for letting me know, Mark. Wyoming specifically has the Kentucky Derby is great, but it's not enough to make it a pivotal state for the rest of the union. That said, Wyoming, Dick Cheney comes from there, a lot of powerhouse money there, and of course Liz Cheney, being sort of divergent from her father's position, but an outsized amount of power coming from Wyoming, for example. And why? I mean, what's the difference between Wyoming and Idaho in terms of its impact on the overall economic power of the strength of the United States, right? Well, funny you should ask. Evidence piles up showing Wyoming's secretive LLC filing laws being used for fraud. Now, why is the evidence piling up? This is from April 23rd. Okay, you see this? Okay. A country-led investigation, a county-level investigation shows that Wyoming's secretive business filings are allowing out-of-state entities to fraudulently co-opt addresses in Sheridan, an address in the legal registered place for nearly 17,000 businesses. It's like this little podunk fucking building in Sheridan, Wyoming, has 17,000 buildings run out of the front of the fucking place. I wish they had a picture of this place. So I'll see if I can find it at one point. But it's a little like post office kind of building, right? And here's the thing. Why is this happening? Why is evidence piling up? I'll tell you why. Because of the CT fucking A. That's why. That law, which passed in 2021 as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, which is why it was in a must pass and it managed to sneak through because Democrats tried to put it in 2019 dealing with Trump's bullshit LLCs, and he stopped it. It got passed because it got added to the NDAA. It passed, and it went into effect January 1st of this year. It was passed in 2021. They had time for compliance and working it out, and then they got 90 days from January 1st till, 3 months later to the beginning of last month, basically, for people to start filing their shit. And boy, did the shit hit the fan in April for all this motherfucker's fake billionaire ratty tax dodging fucking friends. That's why they're freaking out. So again, I would like to say, and we don't need to watch the rest of what he's saying because it's all bullshit. And I want you to know that he's freaking the fuck out and he's not going to be able to do shit about it. It's law now. It's not going to change. He can bitch about it all he wants, but it's not going to shift. Yeah. It is the law now. It went into effect in January. They had 2 years to bitch about it, and now he's just getting caught with his fucking pants down along with his other asshole buddies. And it's not that hard. You just have to, when you have a business, have a physical address that aligns with the actual business and an ID that goes with it. And if you need to protect your identity, there are state laws that allow you to do that. Celebrities do it all the time. You just file a thing that says my life is in danger if people know where I live, so I just want this special throughput, but you guys know where I live, they just don't, and that's fine. You can still do that, but somebody in the chain of existence of these fucking businesses has to know that you're actually a person and that you actually live in the country and that you're actually an American. And this motherfucker wants that to stop because it's drying up all the campaign funds beyond even what Trump isn't running out of. I gotta tell you, Trump's burning through so much campaign money that these motherfuckers aren't gonna get any of it from anywhere. And I gotta tell you, I just enjoy it. I just want to let you know. I just think this is great. Watching this asshole squirm is fan-fucking-tastic. And Democrats, congratulations, great job. First of all, presenting this bill in 2019 to have some level of, I don't know what the fucking hang-up is. What's the big deal with people knowing that it's your business? What are you ashamed of? Why should it be? What are you ashamed of that you have 25% stake in something and anybody else who has more than that has to list themselves as a beneficiary of the business on paper and be an actual person? What the fuck is wrong? Why is that bad? I'll tell you why. Because it's all bullshit. Because Donald Trump and all of his dickhead buddies have been scheming around this shit for decades. And state by state, Iowa, California, New York, they're starting to put up all these transparency laws, and it's freaking these guys the fuck out. And I think that's spectacular. I just wanted to draw attention to that. So the Corporate Transparency Act should be a no-brainer, but it is panicking the fuck out of these guys. Good. And along with it, all the transparency around real estate holdings, which is another which is, by the way, when Trump, let me be abundantly clear. When Trump is talking about businesses leaving New York and money not coming to New York anymore, he's not just talking about himself and the legal filings against him. what he's talking about, and that's because it's a very real thing. He's having a really fucking hard time getting foreign money snuck in to backfill his fucking fake billions because there's too much transparency. New York has this new law. California has a new law. All these places where he's been hiding money in real estate for all these fucking years is finally, they're finally passing these transparency laws. And then on top of that, there was a federal Corporate Transparency Act passed. So, and this is specifically to fight money laundering. That's exactly right, Remo Williams. Yeah. So, I fucking think it's great. And it's about goddamn time. But that's what I want you to know. That's what they're panicking about. When he says the whole fucking world is, the country's turning into a third world country and blah, blah, blah. Part of why he's saying that is because he's just whimpering piece of shit. But also, he's doing it because he's like, we are not able to shuffle in the money that I'm counting on to keep my businesses afloat. We might as well be, it's just like trying to convince somebody to give money to a third world country now. That's what he means. Just to clarify. And I fucking love it. I'm so for it. Ugh, just great. Meanwhile, if I may, moving on, there was a bill to fight anti-Semitism that passed in the House. And oddly enough, the right wing are very upset. I don't know if you saw this, but they're very upset that this anti-Semitism bill is has passed, because to them it's not an anti-Semitism bill. It's an anti-hate speech bill, which is a thought crime bill. And soon it's going to be illegal for me to be a bigoted piece of shit. That's the concern. Before we, and I have not watched this, and I don't know what his ultimate reaction or argument will be, other than what I can tell from the fucking thumbnail. But I would like to say right out of the gate that I do believe in the value of hate speech laws, specifically for a purpose. You cannot outlaw someone's speech, even if it's hateful. That's not what hate speech laws are about. What they are is evidence if you later on, let's say, attack a black person or an Asian person or a white person or a woman of any color or whatever. And then we go back and we look, and you've got a long history of posts about how you want to kill white women, or you want to kill black ladies, or you want to kill black dudes, or you want to kill Hispanic people. And they can go, okay, we can use that as referential to why you attacked this person. Because hate laws, hate crimes specifically exist because it is about the indiscriminate nature of the offender. Again, this goes to, if I fucking hate Glenn and Glenn hates me and Glenn and I have a dust up and I dust off Glenn and I go to jail for dusting off Glenn, you can kind of read into, well, these guys had a beef and it just went too far, and maybe this guy, can get his act together. I can clean myself up over 12 years in jail. And when I come out, I've learned my lesson, and I'm not going to get in another dust up. And what are the chances I'm going to run into an asshole like Glenn anymore? Even the jury can spot, well, Glenn's a prick. So the chances of there being a dickhead on the same level as Glenn in this guy's life are fairly slim. So we can count on the idea that he probably won't dust anyone else off. You understand what I'm saying? But if I just hate powder-headed fucks that look like C-level KFC mascots, then the court has to take into account the fact that there might be a few more powder-headed KFC mascot, C-grade KFC mascots out there, and therefore you gotta worry about their safety, not just the specific individual back and forth, right? Does that make sense? That they have to take into account that you're not attacking one person because you had a specific beef that person might have also had a participation in. You will randomly attack anybody who fits the bill, and therefore you're a bigger danger to society. And so that's what hate crime laws are all about. And it makes total sense. And by the way, we have a similar thing like this, even though Glenn doesn't give a rat fuck about cops and their safety. I happen to. And if you attack a cop, you're not only more likely to attack another cop, but you're also more likely to attack an average citizen because you don't fear the ramifications of attacking a police officer. If I have no qualms about attacking a police officer, I sure as shit don't give a shit about attacking an average person, because they're not armed and carrying a taser and have backup and a radio on them and a body cam and all that kind of shit. Some old lady walking down the street is in a lot of danger because I would attack a cop, right? So we have a rule about that makes sense because of the danger that people put other human beings in, right? Spouse is another one. Yes, if you got a history of domestic violence, that's going to factor into you going to jail. That's right. So thank you, Arizona Sunflowers. It's lovely. So, Glenn doesn't give a fuck about cops. He wanted them beat nearly to death in front of the Capitol so that his buddies could sneak in there and make Donald Trump king for life. But in this particular instance, it seems that they're very upset that this might be a hate crime, like a hate language law, and that scares them. And also, again, I'll see. Hold on.
The House of Representatives passed a major anti-Semitism bill on Wednesday, which would crack down on anti-Semitism on college campuses
but not at the Blaze, so you're totally
as
good.
protests rage nationwide. So you're now not saying that this is going to be
don't say not saying
for everybody. This is just through the Department of Education. Legislation was opposed by
about funding, I think.
21 Republicans and 70 Democrats. The legislation seeks to make the Department of Education adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism.
Cool.
When enforcing the 1964 Civil Rights Act on college campuses.
Right. So, in general, college campuses shouldn't be a place in general where people go to deny the Holocaust actively, for example.
Now, I had to look it up. What is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism?
Let me guess. You're against it.
Well, they define anti-Semitism as, and I'm quoting, a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. It also defines it as a heretical and physical manifestation of anti-Semitism and directed towards Jewish.
Okay, by the way, just for the record, you can't define something by saying the thing. You can't go, anti-Semitism can be defined as anti-Semitism. In the same way that, like, how would you define racism? Well, racism is racist stuff. It was like, wasn't Ta-Nehisi Coates, wasn't that his big stupid, amongst other things? He was like, how would you define racism? Racism is when racist things happen. All right, thanks, pal. Terrific. Really helpful. Thanks, we'll call you. Like, same thing here. Like,
or non-Jewish individuals and or their property towards the Jewish community, institutions.
Sorry, back up. I missed the part at the top of this.
A heretical and physical manifestation.
Heretical and physical manifestation. Rhetorical and physical? Heretical. I don't think they're out. I don't think this is a heresy law.
Of anti-Semitism and directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property.
Right, you can't harm non-Jews because they're helping Jews, for example.
Towards the Jewish community, institutions, and religious facilities.
Right, physical damage.
Examples of anti-Semitism include calling for the harming of the Jewish people in the name of racial or extremist view of religion, and accusing Jewish people of inventing and or exaggerating the Holocaust. The combat
So you're worried about Nick Fuentes and like Charlie Kirk in that crowd.
Anti-Semitism movement hailed the passage as a momentous achievement.
But you know better.
But said work remains to be done to get it through the Senate and President Joe Biden's desk.
Really? They're going to have a hard time passing it through the desk? Is it because the wood's really dense?
While we celebrate this milestone, our work is far from over. We now need to urgently call upon Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to prioritize the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act.
Cool. Okay, real quick, let me, if I may, chat room. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. This is the working definition of anti-Semitism, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition. Okay. So this is the anti-Semitism is okay. This is the Okay. Am I always right? Is it just all right? Um, First of all, it's not heretical, you dumb motherfucker. It's rhetorical, as in words and deeds. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, towards Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. That's the working definition. Jesus Christ. Like, even I know it just from him fucking reading it poorly. Just an asshole. Heretical. The fuck out of here.
Okay, so there are the 20 Republicans in the House that stood up. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz opposed the bill.
Why? Because it's is there like a poison pill in there about not being able to dope and fuck 17-year-olds and fly them to Georgia under drugs, under the influence of drugs and have sex with them while I'm just, I'm spitballing, slamming energy drinks and crushing Viagra pills with the cans and then snorting them so that you can go all night or something?
He said this is a hate speech bill. Anti-Semitism is wrong, but the legislation is written without regard for the Constitution, common sense, or even common understanding of the meaning of the words.
Well, obviously not, because it's the international understanding of the meaning of the words. And by the way, we don't have a complete control over the English language in the United States. Glenn barely uses it at all.
If this bill would pass, the gospel itself would meet the definition of anti-Semitism under the terms of this bill.
No, it would not.
Democratic lawmakers, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, has also called for the passage of the bill.
Called for the passage of the bill?
The Countering Anti-Terrorism Act, or Anti-Semitism Act.
Whatever. Anti-terrorism, anti-Semitism. It's not like words matter, Glenn.
The bill would combat anti-Semitism through the appointment of a new presidential advisor that would be charged with implementing the White House's coordinated strategy in dealing with anti-Semitism. What could possibly go wrong here?
I don't know. The Blaze gets shut down, I guess. Is that what you're worried about? How much Jew hating do you have on the program that you're worried about? Are you going to have to cut it back? I mean, that might cost you with some of the prepper advertisers, because if you can't sell the end times and blame Jews for it, how can you sell pancake batter out of giant tubs?
The effort to crush anti-Semitism and hatred in any form is not a Democratic or Republican issue.
Well, it largely is. It seems to be. It is.
It's an American issue that must be addressed in a bipartisan manner.
And it was.
With a fierce urgency of now.
By the way, Glenn agrees with more Democrats in this than he does Republicans, just for the record. That's why he's so upset and confused.
Because after all, gang, say it with me, we've got to do something. Okay.
Well, you don't. Glenn, you're useless. There's no one's expecting you to solve shit. People who work in government, our representative government, our democracy, are seen as having to solve something if it's an increasing problem, but obviously no one's looking to you for solutions, you dipshit.
When I hear people say, the Jews killed Jesus, or those...
You what? It's the only thing that gives you a half chub anymore?
Those dirty Jews run the world.
Don't talk about Stu like he's not sitting right there.
Or those Jews are responsible for everything bad.
Is that what they say? Man, I got to tell you, that's the problem with today's neo-Nazis. They're not specific enough.
Or you're just saying things because you have a Zionist master.
You hear that a lot?
I think to myself, you're a bloody idiot.
Because you're going to get caught, and the Blaze is going to get shut down. Don't say that at a meeting because someone's taking notes.
You have no clue as to what is really happening in the world. You have no clue. Are there some Jewish people that are very successful and top of corporations or top
I don't think so. I can't think of any.
of whatever? Yeah, there are. Are there very
What? Who? I mean, I understand that a lot of names that end in Berg will often be associated with Jews, but I think the guy, according to you, the guy who runs Facebook, for example, his name is Zucker Bucks or something like that. Don't you use the same name for him that Mike Pillow uses?
successful Jews that happen to be bankers? Yeah. But you know what? There's also very successful bankers that are Catholics.
Yeah, but they're all in Delaware helping the Bidens, I think, and you hate them. So,
And Mormons and Lutherans
absolutely, a lot of Lutherans
and Methodists.
No, definitely not Methodists. There's like two, I think. There's two Methodist bankers in the whole country.
And dare I say it, atheists.
Apparently you do. You just did. You mean like you, Glenn?
Yeah, but it's the Jews that are the problem.
What? Stop quoting the staff at the Blaze.
You're an idiot.
I didn't say it. You said it, you dumb motherfucker. Why am I on the hook for shit you're saying? Yeah, how many Wiccans run the banks? I know a lot more than you think. I mean, that what all the eyes wide shut parties are about? Shit.
You shouldn't run around saying these things.
Yeah, keep it on the easy. They might be listening. You shouldn't. It's not even that you shouldn't say them. They're not true. You don't even have to get to the point where you shouldn't say these things. It's not about should at that point. You think this, you're fucked up, dummy.
But I kind of actually like it when you do, because I know exactly who you are.
Right. It makes hiring at the Blaze so much easier.
Oh, here's a guy who is so stupid he can't tie his own shoes.
He'd be a perfect co-host. I'm sorry, you were going to say. He deserves he'd be great on Pat's show. ... Yeah.
Or he's just a massive racist. Kids,
hang on to that guy. He probably knows Tucker personally.
stay away from him.
Right. But only because, Matt Gaetz is a child fucker, not because you disagree.
You shouldn't run around saying because it's false, it's rude, it's stupid.
Yeah, rude. I agree. Yeah, so rude. You know what I mean? Blaming the Jews for everything. It's just impolite. That's what bothers me most about
All of the above.
Rude.
And we're trying to create a society here.
Are we? Really? We're trying to create a society? What kind of commie bullshit is this?
The proper response to this act is to not
We don't need it?
post memes of long-nosed Jews rapping.
Oh, I see. Do you hear? What if they keep doing it? Well, they would just let it happen. Yeah, but what if they also, threaten them with violence? Well, we would just let that happen too. Free speech.
Their tentacles around a U.S. flag.
Wait, they have tentacles? Testicles, I think is what you're saying. No, that's Trump you're thinking of.
It doesn't mean you're right about how the Jews are or vindicated for noticing that Zionists are the reason for everything is bad that has ever happened.